Welcome to Skyton Academy's cryptocurrency pillar, where we equip you with essential skills for the digital economy. Explore the fundamentals in Crypto 101, delve into sectors like finance and healthcare, and master security measures. Safeguard your investments with our crypto scams module and learn to spot scams. Discover the art of secure storage with cold storage techniques. Elevate your trading strategies and more. At Skyton Academy, thrive in the crypto revolution. Unlock your potential. Enroll today for just $50 a month.
All right, guys. So I'm down this AI rabbit hole, right? Understand this technology has been around for over a decade. I look at stuff on TV now, and I tell my wife all the time, like, yo, that's AI. I've been saying that. Like, none of this shit looks real. The nature shows, planet Earth, not buying it at all. So you have to understand if the technology is already in place and it's already shifting the way we do business, it's already trimming the marketplace down, right? So Tyler Perry went from an $800 million expansion to I'm not doing anything right now, right? So we're talking about $1 billion. This guy was going to expand the studio. Now, for the amount that you can do with probably 2 computers and 2 people running it, could probably replace $1 billion worth of any sort of build that you could do, right? As I look at a lot of the AI projects that we work with on a daily basis, and that's low-level stuff, right? Yeah. When you start to pay attention to some of this stuff, it's as bad as it's going to get. That's the crazy part, right? I've seen photos AI generated that you couldn't tell if it was real or fake. And then, we'll start going into this whole deep fake. The elections are here. I'm sure everybody's going to run with that platform with it, right? Drake utilized AI last week. I'm only touching on it because of the technology. So he was able to put Pac in a track.
Right.
Okay, so just showing you. And this is the same Drake who was crying foul when somebody did it to him. Mm-hmm. Okay. But we're just sticking to the technology now. This is the most important part of the space that we're in right now, right? So we're the only group out there, and I know this for a fact, that's only talking about securing your data and monetizing your data and minimizing your data, right? If we understood the power of our data, we wouldn't freely be giving the stuff away to only turn around and have it sold back to us in a sense, right? So we're prepaying for our advertisement, right? You say it, they show it.
Yeah.
So with that focus, guys, I had to go into like AI-driven products because a lot of what's going on out here is being driven by that technology and the automation, right? So now we're right back to the internet days. Remember when coders were in like hot demand? This is what's happening in AI right now. So I said, you know what? Let me just go down the educational rabbit hole right now. I'm already talking to some incubators, and I'm looking at maybe fall for them to come on to give us some offerings. There are companies that are training people for free, right? Because they just need to stay ahead. Mark Cuban said last week, he was like, if you're a CEO and you don't understand AI, and he said, he didn't say hire somebody to understand it for you. He was like, if you're a CEO of any company right now and you don't understand AI, that's going to be your biggest downfall. So he went to the top of the food chain, right? Just think about that statement, right? We're talking about from a one billionaire who made his money in the tech boom. Now he's back around again, setting shop up in automation, AI, and we know Mark's big in crypto and blockchain. He's not going to miss this wave. Education is going to be the #1 driver that's going to keep people useful in the next 5 to 10 years, period. And I'm not talking about these universities and stuff. For my parents who have seniors graduating, going to college, or even the juniors, I have a conversation with some of our students, and they're going through this process now. I would urge you to have your child take a AI certification course, please. I would tell you don't even send these kids to college, right? Because you have to look at, without a plan, you have to look at the course of the next 4 years, right? Because they go to college, they graduate in 4. So that means they'll be in the marketplace right around that time. So now we're talking about 2029, 2028. We're a couple years off that agenda. Mm-hmm. So if automation is doing what it's doing now, just imagine when it becomes massively adopted, and we're seeing a lot more of it now. Okay. So I'm going to drop 2 links to you guys for these universities. One is going to be Berkeley, right? And then the second one is going to be MIT. So these are all, what would you call them? Executive education, right, at the end of the day, right? They're not a lot of money, guys. We're talking about under $3,000. One was what, 20, what'd you have on your end?
I believe it was 29. Yeah, 2950.
Yep, 2950 would be MIT, and Berkeley is going to be 2492. And I'm taking these courses. That's one. And for those of you who are watching the replay, we will put the link as members. It'll be posted in our academy. As non-members, it'll be on YouTube, and we'll just drop it in the description. Yeah. But get in the academy. All right. So that's the first link. And guys, mind you, I'm going to pull some more for our academy students. I'm going to pull some that are actually free for you to take. They don't go as in depth, but at least you get the layers of what's happening. This is all called machine learning at the end of the day, right? When you start to hear machine learning, that's the artificial intelligence process. So as I'm down a rabbit hole, Champ's favorite, well, when we had the masterclass on Bitcoin, NVIDIA was one of his favorite stock picks, and I ain't squashed the joint. That's the biggest company. Trust me, it's holding up the entire stock market right now, single-handedly. All right. So what this guy did was he set up this incubator, and I'm going to share that with you guys. And listen, guys, there's power in information. If you do not go to these sites and mess around, you're not going to find out. And this is all free information. So the NVIDIA incubator accelerator program basically brings in any company that has a project. They don't care what it is. And I looked at the criteria, and any one of us could basically get one. You do need a seasoned corporation for 10 years though, but that's easy to get. So they have a whole bunch of companies that fall within everything is machine learning, AI, some type of automation, right? So they bring you in, they offer you support, they help you. You're going to probably be using their chips, GPU, whatever. They have interest in the projects. They also have venture capitalists that are part of the group. So these guys are getting in on the investment side of things too. So they're watching these early projects, these young kids just ideas. They don't even need you to come with anything outside of like just proof of concept. And then they have education in there free that can assist you. And then they have programmers and all sorts of stuff, guys, right? So as I'm looking at all these companies, I'm like, shit, this is a lot. Okay. So I come across one here. And for all my nurses and just people in the medical field, just take heed to this. All right. Because the bedside manners is already gone. So I wouldn't even care. Put it that way. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. You see that right there? This is the company that NVIDIA actually partnered with. So they have some equity stake in this. And the other day when he had his yearly talk and he was talking about stuff, so now they have nurses, AI nurses, that are going for about $9 an hour. And I'm talking about smart. Okay. So I'll drop this. We're not going to play the whole thing, but just listen to this call.
Hi, this is Linda calling from Memorial Hospital
and this is an AI nurse speaking to a live person. Right. So just listen to just see how the conversation's flowing and see how the times are changing.
Recorded line. Is this Albert Wu?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. I'm calling on behalf of Dr. Brown, your cardiologist. To protect your privacy, can you please share your date of birth?
It's January 1st, 1950.
Thanks for confirming that. I'm your AI chronic care manager. Dr. Brown asked me to check in on you after your discharge from the hospital. Is now a good time to talk?
Sure.
Great. Before we delve into your health matters, I think it would be beneficial to learn a bit more about you. Is that all right, or would you rather we get straight to the point?
Sure. I enjoy talking to you.
I'm relieved you're back home. It's always comforting to be in your own space, isn't it? Can you share with me what you're excited about doing now that you're back home?
Well, I'm excited about watching the Oscars tonight with my wife, and it's good to be back home away from the hospital. I have my grandkids here visiting, and my dog, Stevie Ray, is here too.
Can you tell me how many grandkids you have? And what breed is Stevie Ray?
I have 3 grandkids, and Stevie Ray is a Bernedoodle.
That's wonderful, Mr. Wu. Let's shift our focus a bit and talk about your medications.
Yeah,
Let's
do that.
Get your new prescription of lisinopril and Lasix from the pharmacy.
I have. I just picked it up.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Well, I had a question for you. Is the prescription for 5 milligram tablets twice a day, or is it just 10 milligrams once a day?
Your prescription is for 10 milligrams of lisinopril once a day. The tablets you have are 10 milligrams each.
You get the gist, right? Whoa. Okay. So this is as bad as it gets. Okay. So machine learning, the crazy part about it is as the system grows and more information is put in, that's when the machine learning it's constantly working. It's constantly updating. We're talking about data points, right? So if they have enough conversations with enough people, they're going to touch a broad spectrum. Now, if you're like me, a straight shooter, like, listen, let's just get down to it. I'm not doing the small talk part, but that was something that we didn't have just years ago. Okay. So this particular company was an incubator on NVIDIA's platform. And I'm talking about some of these guys come to the table with no money, just a great idea. And this is what this company put together. So they have $8 an hour. Now, personal story. So my mother had surgery the other day and she gets sent home the same day. Right. Mm-hmm. So now for her physical therapy, they send home. Now it's automation now. Right. And it has to be artificial intelligence built into it. But she basically gets a bicycle and she's supposed to keep her hip and knees going. And they're tracking all of this on it. They're charging her $20 a day, depending on what insurance you have. So you're paying daily for this, right? Think about it. You would normally have to go to a physical therapy location, right? That would then have physical therapists on site that's working with you. They're still doing the bike and all that other stuff. So now they're monitoring this stuff remotely, making sure that you're doing it, checking mobility and all other stuff while they're looking at it. You understand? So this is where medical is going down this path and fast. That's going to be the first sector. I'm calling it now. That's going to fully automate across the board, right? Because they're all highly connected with each other, right? You can get fast food and some may not make that journey, some might, but there's still going to be a lot of consumer behavior, right? Because even with the checkouts now, those self-checkouts aren't working like that. You see the register people back again.
Yeah, yep.
People call bullshit on that stuff and a lot of theft on top of it. So now you got 2 complaints, basically. It's not making for a good environment, right? Yeah. But in the medical world, you have no choice. They don't really give you much choices. It's like you either want it or you don't want it. Where else are you going to go? Right? And then your insurance limits what you can and can't do if you're not paying cash or you have a great health plan. So I say all this to say, you guys have to start paying attention to things that are happening around you. Right? I'm seeing holograms at the airport when I'm traveling. I'm looking at stores inside the airport that don't have employees anymore. Remember those Hudson News, the magazines and stuff? It's all self-checkout now.
What?
Oh, wheelchairs. My goodness. Thank you. My wife's in the background. Wheelchairs are automated. The guy's damn near running into us. And I'm like, why is this guy not stopping? He's like, I can't control it. It's just taking him to his gate. It's but he wasn't on the grounds. He was hitting the grass, the carpet a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess I was in the way from however they coded it. So we had to move because that thing was not adjusting for him. And it got him over to the gate. And as we're walking, we saw a whole bunch of them headed towards other ways. So now I'm just saying, like, just think about it, right? It's only going to be a few short years before the airports and those medical facilities are. I'm giving it 2 years, guys, and everything's going to be a robotic arm. You will not see a person working at an airport. Crazy.
You know what's more crazy? I don't want to stop your flow because you're doing incredible right now, kind of breaking this down. So someone in the comments was basically saying, like, do you see like jobs like for like sales agents and things like that just dissipating? And I'm like, everything is going to be impacted, and you can clearly see this. So when Steve is telling you guys you have to pay attention to what's going on around you, literally every single industry is going to be impacted. If you're a person who pushes papers, if you're an administrative person, you do clerical work, a lot of those jobs are being streamlined by AI. The models that we're using, we're actually using in the Deep End course, we're actually using a project that is streamlining the process of being able to take data, put it into a data library or repository, and train other AI models that are typically restricted. So you're talking about people creating stuff on AI as well as big companies creating using AI. Guys, this is happening. Nobody's safe. Useful, useless. You got to pick a side.
So listen, there's so much opportunity out there to add something to this ecosystem, right? So it's not all gloom and doom because somebody's working on these tech projects as we speak, whether it be investing $2,400. Mostly I spent more than that doing dumb shit with the culture. So I'm just telling you that we have to start positioning ourselves with the future advancements. And before we get too deep with it, we have to have a deep knowledge and understanding of what it is, right? So we're charging you, what, $50 a month for our members. And this sort of stuff is not floating around through our culture at all. We just wait for somebody to tell us that it's hot, and then we add cool to it. So what you have to understand about the machine learning is it's our kids have to be involved in this. You understand? You have to have Black and brown people. You have to have a lot of women coding these products, because if we leave it to this new generation of coders, predominantly white males, you know what I mean, right? So we need some seasoning on that side.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm bringing this stuff over to y'all, because there's a lot of opportunity too, because you got to understand, this is not about race. This is just about culture, right? So if that lady is talking in that way, can you imagine how much cultural products that we can do that will associate? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So that's the stuff that I want to add, and even if I spark the idea in somebody's mind, this academy has to pump future innovators like that. That's my new pivot now. I'm no longer interested in how do you set up an exchange. I can't KYC. I'm not interested in that at all. Like, figure it out. At this point, we put it in front of you. Even if we just gave you the exchange name, find it, sign up, set your security parameters, buy your stuff, pull it off cold storage. We can't simplify this anymore. And I'm not getting into the nuances because I'm starting to realize that people start to become dependent on just how to do everything. Nah, this is cryptocurrency. Like, copy it, double check it, send a small amount, rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just telling you that there's things that are being implemented right now, and we have to get moving. And this is why I want to bring valuable content information to you guys so you can make better informed decisions on your future. Because if Tyler Perry could pull back 800 million within just a conversation, then just know that it's a lot bigger than just a man making that decision on that particular day. Right. So because we're early, we have an opportunity to position ourselves. So I would tell you to take a close look at those paid courses. And then, like I said, I have a couple free ones that I'll be dropping to Academy members only. Okay, so you guys will be getting that. But definitely pay attention to that. So the other thing that I saw too, being in real estate, is I'm looking at the advancements in technology now, right? Because I'm not thinking about building right now, but I know within the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be building. So part of this is leading me into what's happening in that sector. So the robotics are insane already. Okay, when you're talking about new construction and the way that you do things with plans already put in place, you're going to have your house could basically be printed for you. Okay. And then the robot already knows every square footage, because once you upload the design, right, there's going to be companies that are in charge of just actually creating and implementing these things. So I told you the other day, there's Google is working on their robot. It's not even expensive. It's like 12 to 15,000. But that particular arm, and mind you, people can, machine learning, you can start to sell things to products. So understand, and I hate to generalize this, but let's say if I was cutting grass in the hood, I could adjust the tone and talk a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Mr. Jimbo, what's going on today? Like, you start to really understand people, and the machine learning could adjust to each client as a real person. Right? The way I interact with Champ would be different than the way I interact with somebody else. But I can tell you that anytime it's of the same culture, the interactions ain't too far off.
Right.
Right. And understand this, and you guys will get it. When you see a particular person or people walking by with no shoes on outside, you know that look that we give each other? That's culture. Right. There's the nonverbal. So I've been researching a lot with how do you create nonverbals, right? That's the part of human intelligence that can't be recreated. Right. They don't even know what we're saying half the time when we're looking at them. Right? So I'm just telling you that when we embark on this journey right here, we have to think culture, right? Because the person that can crack that, and just think about it, nobody's talking about it within the culture, right? Those guys have so much more work on their plate. They're not even worried about us right now. They never take us into account anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're talking about the first of its kind that can integrate machine learning with culture, and imagine what you can output with that. And I'm not talking about destructive culture, because that could be done too.
Right.
I'm not playing that side of the coin. Just a thought, right? So let me share.
It ain't playing.
Stop playing?
We can hear the noise in the background, but the actual video itself is not playing.
That's why. Hold on. Either way, listen, that thing was a robotic arm, right? That was painting a house. You can go to my page. I have it in stories on Skyton.
I got you right there.
So now we're talking about, in the real estate world, not only can you print houses, but you have robotic arms painting. You have, there's so much innovation. There's homes that are coming in boxes now that you kind of open. So the sky's the limit in that world right there. Cold form steel is a product that I'm looking to work with. You know, that's printable. It's basically printed steel at the end of the day, formed. You can't make a mistake with it, because every piece could only connect to the piece it needs to connect to. So you could hire any labor to put that together. You can't mess it up. So you're basically framing a house. Yeah. And it's fast. It to spec, once designs are approved, it's literally you're printing different aspects. And then, I kind of watch the way that AI and automation is working within the job sites now. Now you can keep track of material. So, I'm just looking at the smarts of this. I'll be honest, like 90% of this stuff is going to make our lives and just the world a better place. From some of the stuff that I've been seeing, right? Like I said, there's flip sides to everything. But I just like the fact that there's so much opportunity, right? And just, I think there was a stat the other day that showed minority entrepreneurs since the pandemic has tremendously increased, right? So, I'm just hoping that everyone can just find verticals and ways to automate their systems and processes. Like, this ain't the time in history to be fighting some stuff. Like, don't get old, like, this internet stuff, and then now you don't know how to use the internet.
Right.
Don't do that. We got a lot more, we got a lot more years in front of us than behind us. Just don't do that. Do not disregard this technology, because I'm seeing a lot of parents doing this, and then they're like, their kids aren't going down that rabbit hole. So we have the Oculus here, and there's a gravity sketch on there. So if anybody has the Oculus, there is a free app or game on there called the Gravity Sketch. So it takes you through a series of things. You could actually learn how to paint a car, and it's kind of giving you the same motions. You can create product and take product to printer for 3D models. You can create clothes, everything to spec, right? So the days of pattern making is going to change. It's changed already. Now, if you want to do it the old way, that's fine, but there's going to be other ways and innovations always happen. Architects used to draw by hand. Now it's CAD. Before you know it, it's just, you think it. I mean, this is where it's going, right? And just think about it. When you're speaking into machine learning, and I say this with love, don't be dumb. It's just going to give out dumb shit, right? So we're not all going to be the same. So think about it. Every single one of us we're going to need our AI personal assistant. You're going to need one. I would pay to build that. For something to just take a load off of me? What? As much as I work, and you could sit this thing next to me, yeah, I'll take a dozen of those.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All day. So at some point, we're going to have to control our own personal AIs. So that's why I tell you, the more you know now, the more you'll know later. Guys, there's money out here. Trust me when I tell you this. All that money that's being pulled out of the banks right now, the Jamie Dimons and all that, this is where they're going to park their money right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
These guys are already, everybody's positioned to become like trillionaires within the next 5 years. They said the next round of guys that are going to move the innovation of tech that's coming right now, it is going to make these guys look piss poor that we have now. So what are we missing right now? This is all interoperability. Everything that I've read, that word keeps coming up. Everything is going to be able to connect with each other.
Hello.
The CEO from Instagram said on a TED Talk the other day, and you guys can go back on it. He was like, yeah, of course, at some point, you'll be able to take your Instagram profile somewhere else. And no one really knew what he was talking about unless you understood what was happening in the background already.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is your digital footprint at the end of the day. You own and you control that. Here's where we get to the good part. Pull out your pen and paper. I'm going to give you 6 AI projects right now that are accelerators in NVIDIA. And before I do that, I'm giving you the website so you can look at all the projects that they have. And I'm not even passing out an offering.
Ain't it incredible to be part of the Skyton Academy? Man.
Listen, just pull up a chair. Just pull up a chair. All right. So before we go into the 5, right? That's the website for Inception. This is where you start to see these companies being formed. Okay. We're talking about the biggest chip maker in the world. And this is basically all machine learning at the end of the day. Okay. So here's the part you guys got to understand before I go any deeper with this thing. All right. So Web 1, right? Web 1.0 was like Yahoo, Google was part of that movement. That was read only, right? That was static websites. Yep. And then we got the 2.0 right now, which is same thing, read, write, and then interactive social hubs. So this is where the Snapchats, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Airbnbs, right? So 3.0 would be what? Read, write, and own. And then it's all about privacy now. You understand? Read, write, own, and privacy. That's it. That's Web3. Okay. So when we talk about data protection, that's privacy. When we talk about monetizing your data, I mean, web protection, that's Web3. Monetizing your data, that's Web3. So when you listen to all the tech guys out here, the biggest tech guys, and they ask them what Web3 is, they don't have any answers for it because they don't own any part of it. It belongs to the people. So they'll play dumb like, oh, yeah, no straight shooters out there. Some who are working on stuff. All right. So the first project I'm going to give you guys is Flux, Flux. All right. So Flux, trying to find the easiest way to just give it to you. All right. So it's basically a blockchain network, right? It uses the same, and Champ hates this, but it uses the proof of work mechanism currently. All right. So that's just currently. Now they're moving off of that and they're doing this thing called a proof of useful workload. Okay. So that's coming this year. So they still have the miners, right? So this is all about GPU power and network. So this could be considered a deep end project, guys, right? So Flux came in about 2022. And it also uses NVIDIA's Jetson's Edge AI platform model, right? So they're already integrated within the model. This might not make sense to you guys. When you start to look at NVIDIA as a company and start to understand what it does, and then you start to see all the startups that it has running through there, I'm calling it right now. This guy is going to be the first trillionaire. Like, and I'm talking about in a couple years, in a couple short years. And listen, there's guys building projects that just from the AI could pick up diseases in your voice, Parkinson's, dementia, all sorts of stuff that you may not even know in your voice. And it's highly, highly successful. And I'll get into that project at the end because it's one of the last ones. All right. So the next one is going to be, and then some of these, if it doesn't have a coin, it's not wrapped around it yet. So if I didn't say it, it just doesn't have a token right now. Okay. That one doesn't. iExec. So Flux, I'm sorry, Flux. I'm sorry. All right. Flux, Flux. And then on the NVIDIA platform, in the incubator, you can look them up too, and then you'll get a little more data, and then you definitely go to the company websites and stuff. iExec, IEXEC. Okay, and they started around October of 22. And this is about GPU computing. All right, so they have a decentralized computing resource marketplace where it allows like users can buy and sell cloud computing capabilities. So basically they're turning cloud computing, right? This thing that we used to just hold data in, they're going to turn that into a commodity. That's huge. Who would have thought? That's huge. Who would have thought that you can take cloud companies that are holding data that are valuable and they wrap that thing and turn it into a commodity and put it on the blockchain. They start selling shares of this shit. Monetizing your damn computing power. That's insane. Guys, you see where I'm going with this? Everything, like Champ tells you and keeps telling you, is going to be tokenized. This is their way of finding ways to just print money all goddamn day, 24/7 with no middleman, all gas. Now, if you can't get money in the next 5 to 10 years, that means you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
This, like, we're giving you guys, this ain't even softballs. This shit is like like big balloons.
Big boulders.
Big, just don't fuck this up. Trust me when I tell you.
That's it.
Yeah. So they're going to create cloud storage is going to turn into a commodity. It's going to be a class in itself. Remember, I told you how valuable data is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine we come together and we find a way to house our own data together and then we all monetize together as a collective? Right? When you got a group of people and you could control what is programmed to come your way, how powerful would that be?
Insane.
That's where we're headed. Exact. Play around if you want. It's currently at 104 million in market cap. Okay. The token is RLC.
No.
Play around. Shapeyard. All right. Shapeyard is wild. This one is, they've been around since October 22. 3D digital asset and export scenes with common descriptions, right? So this is one of those things. This is going to be an app-based situation, and anybody can create 3D drawings from just drawing lines or speaking ideas. And this is app-based. Okay. This one is coin is under development, right? So they haven't started that yet, but please mark this one and keep it on your radar. Okay. All right. This one is dot moves. All right. This one does have a token and it's
DOTMO. It's MOOV.
MOOV, but the company is DOTMOOVS. I'll hold the bag of this one. You can get this one from Mexi. Okay. Let me show y'all something.
So you pulling out all the stops today. You getting busy. Steve in his bag right now.
Nah, listen, when you start to see things that are like innovative and because I love this shit. I just love to see smart work.
Yeah.
And this is all smart work, right? Because I'm just applying basic principles when I see this stuff. Yeah, see this?
Yeah.
All right. So in the fitness world, right now, if you have the mirror at home, or things are going to start to be a little bit more remote, people are going to, machine learning will work you out, right? So when you're looking at all these data points on this guy, it creates symmetry to make sure that Champ's doing his push-ups correctly. Right. So now we're talking about you can customize your entire, and this company started with fitness, but now they're moving into like pharmaceutical. Okay. So this would be something that my mom could use with her hip and knee replacement surgeries and things, just to see, right, where even her as an individual, she can take control of that data herself and do better by it. Right. Just think about it. Right. So we live in a society, we live in a world today when if I go and I get a CAT scan or I go get something, they're not giving you no results back from that.
Yeah, I know.
Right? They tell you what the shit is and you just go about your business and you decide and you make informed decisions, right? But when you start to put artificial intelligence into the mix and you start to keep data more private, right? And things start to get smarter and smarter, people could start making better informed decisions. And not just in a moment, but even prior. So this is why I say that this technology is not all the way bad. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want to make things in your life more efficient, it's there for it. If you want to make improvements in your health, and I mean, just think this is data points at the end of the day. When I mess around with these herbs, the number one question is, oh, can you take this one with this one? Or that's everybody's questions, right? So now you have it's asked enough, it can be answered as simple as you asking me that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're embarking on right now. Right? This ain't for somebody who's always told what to do. Right? That person may not be, their AI may be very simple. No GPU power is moving through that one. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just telling you that this is how we're going to, you want to utilize a complex system to make life easier for yourself. You can either build this shit or you find ways to work with it or find ways to distribute it or teach other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that's where the sales aspect could come in, the human sale aspect could come into play initially. Right? So for as much as great of a salesman as I think I am, come on, man, how many units of this thing do you think I could move as I start to build a community out here? This is why you see the workforce is on TikTok. Right? This is what this band is about. This ain't about protecting your data. Are you kidding me? This thing is just about control. It's not censored over there, and they're allowing kids to just be free and make money. That's it. They're shooting commercials. They're making tens of thousands of dollars a month. They're out the fucking way.
Yeah.
But they can't keep tabs on them because they got time to have political opinions on wars and religions, right? That's not working for the system now.
Right.
All right. So I went a little off. So understand, you start to have personal trainers, you start to release this data to people you work with, right? Whether it be your primary care, your chiropractor. You see where all these data points are all going to be connected now? Steve could take his own private blood test, but now his private blood test could be given to anybody that he wants in that moment. It doesn't have to be caught up in their network. So for that, I'm all part of this because that centralized system has been they've been selling it to the very people that's fucking with our health. And it's like, that ain't it. Oh yeah, I told him that story. So yeah, there's a lady in Minnesota, privately owned. I want to say the healthcare group that we're part of here in Pennsylvania, I think they have about 65 or 70% of the market. And she, as an individual, owns all this data, the system. She's a privately owned company. And then I asked the doctor, like, how much did they pay? How much do you pay to tap into her system? Because they have to set the system up and they have to train. And this all started from me having a private blood test and him feeling some sort of way. And I'm like, but all this stuff should talk to each other. And he was like, listen, every doctor's in agreement with that. You should have one system that communicates. Because once it stops, it's like they just have your data and then however they want to sell you with other stuff. This is what it is. And really all of it started from me asking him about a computer because every time I go there, he's reading a screen telling me what I need because of my age. Not because of where I'm at my age. Just everybody has to do this baseline. So I opt out of all of it. I'm like, I'm cool. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys got to start questioning a lot of that stuff too, just because you're turning 45, 50, colonics and things like that. Listen, if nothing's going, why is something going in? If no problem with things coming out?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Start asking yourself, are they creating more of a problem or less of it? I just know that these dudes are, the stuff that they're making mandatory, you got to start to question those things now. And there's less evasive ways to get to that point. You see what I'm saying? There's simple blood tests that can tell you. So my ladies, same thing with the breasts and the mammogram. I'm hearing this thing is like a farm. Stop letting them pump these chemical, this radiation into you. That's not it. They don't have your best interests in mind. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yeah.
Because they know what the root issue is. That's why it doesn't matter to them. Okay. So I'm just telling you with this technology here, we have a lot more data points, and we as individuals could build machine learning for whatever however we want to process something. You ever get a blood test? Shouldn't it be as easy as figuring out like where your levels are at and giving you everything that you could be working on for your particular genetical makeup? I'm starting to see a lot of these private doctors coming out now, and they're more groups than anything. And you get unlimited blood tests. You get personal workup. There's no 4 minutes to work you up, and I got to be out the room. It personalizes everything. And if I had to guess, it's probably using all the same technology right here, because everything is about scanning your body at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They can see where things are at in your body. They're not interested in making money on verticals. It's just kind of a monthly baseline. And then from, of course, major surgeries, they have to then get you out of the network. But for everything else up to preventative, this stuff's happening right now. On average, $100, $150 a month on average. And we're talking about preventative. So when you make lifestyle changes, you get to go back and take another test and know what things are working so you could tweak it. Mm-hmm. But this is all machine learning. So when it starts to know who you are, it could start to tell you, kind of, Steve, a little too much. And you kind of know where you're at. This thing is taking it's your personal doctor at the end of the day. So this is the stuff that I'm seeing with this Move company right here. And for me, I like the integration. This thing is only, I want to say it was a penny. What's the price now? I'll validate that price.
Well, what's the ticket?
MOOV.
That is, it's a penny right now. Still a penny.
Listen to me, man. Go to that NVIDIA site, put that stuff in there, start listening to the conversations wrapped around that particular project. And this is all private equity investing too. So if those guys are already getting access to these projects that I'm telling you about right now, that means you got some early investors that are already wrapped up into these companies already. People are building places for them to come directly. They're training these kids for free because everybody's just waiting for the next greatest idea. So we got nurses under $9 an hour. This stuff has already been rolled out. There's people buying this already.
This is crazy. And they sitting at an $8 million market cap. That project got a lot of room to grow, especially how impactful it is.
Don't be dumb.
Whoa.
Conducts. Now I know what you see. Let them see it. KONDUX. They came on about September of 22. Conducts. I'm just trying to find an easy way. Some of these things are just like overly complicated. So they enable high-level API. So API is just a way that you can connect one data from a site and bring it to another site, right? That's through API. Connections to create interoperable 3D assets, manufacturing models, and machine learning applications, okay? So one example of this would be if I drafted something through AI, a particular drawing, I could then I can get that same situation, and I'm talking about instantly, same file being sent to a designer in real time, and that thing is being made to spec, right? And then all the way through to actually creating or printing the actual product. So now we're talking about production, right? So when you think about the way things are being produced nowadays, is somebody has to come up with a particular idea, or you're making adjustments to it, and you got to, sketch and do all that other stuff. Can you imagine just a one-stop shop? You say it, it does it, it adjusts it, it makes it, it goes to production. Right. This is where we're going with the times right now, guys. You're going to be able to save the more people you cut out the process. And it's computers. It's, for stuff like that, it's like you don't need any emotion behind it. You just make the shit.
You just create
Whatever.
it.
Yeah. So we should be saving some money on product, I would guess.
For sure.
Right. Okay. That particular product, doesn't have a token yet, but keep that on your radar though. Ubex, UBEX. Oh, no. I'm lying. Conducts, KNDX.
ANDX 5 cents. Yeah. I got it.
ERC20. Not bad. 5 cents.
5 cents.
What markets? Who's selling it?
Let me go back.
Wrap ETH.
Yeah, I think it's just Uniswap if I ain't mistaken. Let me check. ANDX. All this stuff open. Markets. So right now you are able to purchase it. It's loading, guys. And I'm gonna provide you with a list of these spots. So I hope you guys were taking notes, but I got most of the links and everything for you guys too. I'll drop that for you. Yeah, Uniswap, wrapped ETH. For K for KNDX. No, it's definitely not it because you're gonna pay a shitload in fees. But you know what? You know what's crazy, guys? This is a good point. So whenever you get projects, and we don't subscribe to this, right? But we're just telling you, whenever you get projects early, it is a way for you to create that space to be able to dump on somebody else, right? When the project appreciates. You know what I mean? So your trade-off is that you're getting in early before other centralized exchanges get to it, right? You're buying this directly from a DEX that's built on that platform that it's on. So yes, you have to pay higher fees. I know it's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't enjoy it, but that's your way to get in early. Because by the time it gets listed on other centralized exchanges, price is already up 10, 15, 20%, etc. So, you're getting your fees back in that way anyway. But, that's just my little take.
No, that was it.
Yeah, now you giving a hell of some projects right now, bro.
That's it.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, he gave y'all some heat.
I got 6. I was actually gonna throw this in the metaverse.
You actually gave more. Ubex is the last one. You actually gave more than 6, but Shapeyard just didn't have a token.
Yeah. All right. I delivered.
Yeah, you over delivered. What y'all think?
What we got?
I got a hella ones in the chat right now. Somebody said you was in your bag. Somebody said leave me the water, Crypto Moses.
Trust me, you guys are getting this in real time too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had this. I was sitting on it, but then I was like, what, let me just start pulling the trigger. So, like I said, the only one that I'm personally invested in is Moves, MOOV.
Yeah, that's huge
right now. Yeah. That one, that's gearing up to be nice. Why they pull so much money out of crypto every minute, man?
It's crazy because it's a multitude of things that's happening right now, all simultaneously. You know what I mean? You got China and Russia damn near completely finished using the dollar. They're like almost completely sidestep 100% of using the dollar for all trade. Then you have the price of gold hitting new all-time highs. Stock market isn't performing like it's supposed to be doing, even with gains, I guess, in performance, like Meta. The Meta stock just damn near tanked. So it's down heavy. And like you said, Nvidia is one of the only projects on the stock market that's holding it up. So it's just so much uncertainty right now. People just are uncertain of where they're going to put their capital, but you see it flowing into traditional spaces. Crazy thing about that is now you're starting to see traditional finance becoming even more prevalent in crypto. they're starting to tokenize and bring all TradeFi onto the blockchain. So that's another thing. TradeFi, that's a 1% situation. There's a project that deals solely with TradeFi. So in that 1% call, we'll kind of get into that. But you guys are in the right place. And they're just going to continue to do this. They're going to keep manipulating different markets just to see money move from back and forth. But that's what currency is supposed to do. It's supposed to flow. You know what I mean? So you get your ebbs and flows, your ups and downs. But as long as you're in the right place, you got your backpack, you be all right.
Listen, these institutional guys, you have to understand. So they have their money is tied into, like Champ said, traditional financing, right? So they know the writing's on the wall already. So when they start to tokenize assets on the blockchain, what form of currency do you think they're going to be using when that happens? That USD is going to convert to XLM. That USD is going to convert to XRP. That money is going to convert. So when y'all can see small pumps from 9 cents to 25 peak, and I don't valid, that's just coming from a student.
Yeah.
And I trust it. We're talking about in a matter of hours. And that's off of news. You won't know when these guys put that money in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a good segue because Russia, right now, there's a bill that's about to be passed, and they're looking to take all the money that they all the sanctions on the Russian billionaires and stuff. They're looking to turn that money over to the Ukraine. And mind you, these guys aren't even guys who work for the government. They were just high net worth individuals. Literally, their whole lives were just cut off. Like they went to the kids' private school, everything was just cut. Credit cards weren't working, nothing. Yeah. These dudes, they were confiscating their yachts, all types of shit. And these are Russians, and you know how they kind of look like kind of regular, they have a certain complexion.
Mm-hmm.
So when they did that, I'm like, nah, this ain't a good thing, right? So now they can just take their money indefinite and then give it away to somebody. This is like billions of dollars in wealth that these guys have like real legit businesses. So whatever, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So with that said, Venezuela, their sanctions are coming back up again in May. So he's already been testing the Tether out there, and they're going to transact in oil now fully before the sanctions start in May. So this is Tether. It's got like some big money coming through there now.
You know what's even more crazier? Today I saw that Ripple was making some kind of connection with USDT because their top clients and most of their business is done outside of the US, which is how, USDT flows. So it's even wilder to see that. And I haven't dove in, so I don't know all the particulars. But when it crossed my ether, I said, you know what? I'm gonna spend some time digging into this one because I see it a little different. I don't know if that's a play. Ripple is real strategic in their alliances and how they move. You know what I mean? That could be an acquisition situation. You know what I mean? Buy out the stable coin, become a literally high price stable coin. You just never know.
Yeah, but what you have to realize about the stablecoin war is the reason that, and think about the countries, and these are all NATO countries that don't want Binance around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because Binance is, this is North Korea is transacting it, but like all of them are transacting. I mean, yeah. And Binance too, but on Tether. Right. That's their on and off ramps. So if you don't control that situation around the world, then, and that's the part that they can't stop. There's always going to be somebody in some market that's going to allow them to do that. So whether it be China's going to handpick it's the people that are going to operate in their country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to handpick. Most countries are going to have their own central bank digital currency. They're not going to be dealing with what we're dealing with here. So they had to let in all these exchanges to build the system and test the system. We're just test dummies right now.
Yeah.
for a lot of these projects. And then it's just a big testing ground just for Big Brother to just look at how people were interacting with the situation. And then for companies that paid attention, now they can start to build their verticals with stuff that they learned and tested.
Yeah.
Right. Because companies now, marketing companies used to have a 1 year marketing plan. Now it's like 30 days. Every 30 days, they're assessing, changing. You know, when you got that TikTok has literally made new
Yeah.
retailers overnight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Talk about national footprint. You see what I'm saying? So there's power being generated by that platform that doesn't censor. And this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. Them boys, them
They, yeah.
Zionists. You know what I'm saying? That's like there's certain elements that they just can't touch. That's why I'm like, once this crypto thing takes off, they gonna lose their pants, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's too many doors now.
Yeah.
Before you could all media flows through. It doesn't matter what the outlet was. Everybody was on the same soundbite.
Yeah.
Now you can't even control media anymore, right? You go to places like Canada and they've already instituted, you have to register as an influencer in Canada. So they're treating you like media now. That comes with censorship.
I remember that happened. That was sometime last year. Yep.
I gotta start paying attention to this stuff, man. So when you're looking at these TikTok bands and they're selling you and telling you what it is not that. Trust me, the government will never tell you what it really is.
Yeah.
Ever. And once you start to think like that, then you start to question like, nah, and then that's when you start to go down that rabbit hole, and you're like, oh shit, that makes more sense. It is an entire economy, and they do not have access to that data because they don't have ownership. And that's what it comes down to. Tech companies work for government at the end of the day. That's how they create surveillance.
Yeah.
That's it. Tech companies are surveillance companies. This is how they make money. They watch everything we do and they sell it. They sell data to each other. Oh, I don't need that data. Let's sell it to him. Every word is being transcribed. Everything has been machine learning on us the last 10 years. So we built all of this for free. We ain't even getting a cut from it. So I'm over it. I'm over it. Y'all either gonna come monetize, maintain, and minimize, or good luck on the other side.
It's a bar. Mic drop.
Yeah, that's all I got for y'all. 6 projects, all solid. Incubator, NVIDIA, do your research. Crazy projects there, right? You can tie those projects to link to when they start to become early investing. So now you're getting into seed rounds. You're finding companies early. Shit, we get to this money. We could be in those VC rooms. Or we create product and get in the machine learning game. There's options out here. But do not spend your time on anything meaningless right now. Right? And they dropping a lot on us in hip hop right now. Don't pay it no mind. These guys they're losing money right now. They need attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We just talking about bisexual males just doing what the fuck they do. That's it. Mic drop. Nothing more to talk about. Do not invest in that. Trust me when I tell you, any little minute you get, start to research the stuff that we put in front of you. It will change the course of your life. Cut the camera. Let me talk to them about this vacation thing I was on.
All right. Guys, mic drop. With that being said, we're about to cut the cameras off. That concludes episode 51 of Dot Connect Wednesdays. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.